Hey guys, welcome back to the studio. If you're new here, my name is Leah and I'm a collage artist. Last week we talked about strength and treating our art like we're an athlete, and this week we're going to talk about using compassion towards each other. Now, if you know me and you've been following for a while, I'm definitely someone who pushes myself to the max in a lot of ways. And I think that this year I could definitely use a thing or two about compassion. These themes are coming from the book, The Artist Way, and this is week 9 of The Artist Way, recovering a sense of compassion. Now, as soon as this chapter starts, it starts with a very powerful 2-sentence line that I definitely needed to hear, and maybe you do. And that is, the need to be a great artist makes it hard to be an artist. The need to produce a great work of art makes it hard to produce any art at all. And I think that that's what we've kind of been seeing, honestly, in the last couple weeks of me doing art, is that I want to be so much more than I feel like I am right now as an artist. And this year, I definitely was a lot more harder on myself because I started doing art full time. I thought that I was going to be creating a lot more and producing and being able to focus all my energy onto this one thing finally. And as to be expected, when you're moving countries and going through a lot of new things, it does take a lot of your emotional capacity. So as I said, this week is all about compassion, and there is a lot to do for this week, especially when it comes to goal setting. Unfortunately for me, it is Monday and I do not want to set goals. I have been thinking about this project manically that I wanted to finish / start, and I think that this is a good thing to do while I maybe talk about those goals that I'm going to be forming. So I have this amazing pair of vintage overalls that I'm going to use as a template, and then I'm going to be making a quilt-styled version of it with the leftover pieces that I had from my other quilt. And over this journey of the Artist Way, I feel like I've definitely been able to reflect on these ways that I've approached creation. I'm definitely someone who is going to push myself to the max in all ways. And I feel like just from being able to create something and then having to push it out, so for example, sharing it on YouTube, for example, every single week, that is a pretty tight deadline. And I want to be finishing projects in that time, right? So it does put a lot of pressure on, and I think that that can be a really good thing. But I'm finding lately that it's kind of pushing me in the wrong way. It also has this idea of blasting through blocks in this chapter. And one of the paragraphs says, in order to work freely on projects, an artist must be at least functioning free of resentment or anger and resistance, fear. It means that our buried barriers must be aired before the work can proceed. Anything that has come up with me and made me feel kind of anxious or angry and those types of things. And a lot of it is that I've applied to a lot of open calls recently and been rejected from almost all of them, which I just wanted to say here in case you're new in your career and you've been rejected at the very beginning. It is possible to be rejected at the, steadier pace part of it. I definitely have a little bit of an ego now where I feel like because I know that I'm producing good work, it's hard when people say no to it. It's not like it's like I'm at the beginning and I'm like, okay, I'll get better. I'm like, okay, well, this is my work, and they're not accepting it at this stage. And they also asked us to talk about our fears. And instead of this being something that's like one piece or a worry about the project I'm working on, it's about my whole practice overall. This idea that maybe I don't know enough, maybe I'm not the expert I think I am, maybe I need to work harder on my practice to make it look like an actual, masterpiece expert at collage. As I said, I'm now working on this full time and it still feels like I don't have enough time. So I'm just wondering, how do I get more time? How do I structure my daily routine to make sure that it fits into a world where I want to live and I want to dream and I can create what I want to? I fear that I've made all the content that people could ever want and that there's nothing new that I can make. I also worry that some of the breakthrough things that I'm doing now are things that people have done the first time when Collage came out. And so how do you wrap up all these thoughts? I think that this is why I had to pause on my video last week is because I had so many thoughts within me and I feel like I was just kind of spiraling, to be honest, where I have so much I want to do and I don't know how to explain it or get to it or make actionable actions towards the things that I want to get done, which is a really hard thing. I want to work with more digital pieces, for example, as I said before, like actually commenting on current events, for example. I think that this would really help me in being able to potentially move my art into a way that is commenting on current society versus where it is right now, where it's kind of commenting on these past experiences. I'm having this wonder if every month I should have 1 week where I literally focus a full day on each activity. So for example, like a Monday would be like going really in depth on paint and doing a full 8-hour day on painting, for example. And then Tuesday, maybe I do sewing. And then Wednesday, maybe I do collage, for example, and just really like lean into it and pick things that I want to learn, watch videos and read, and just kind of do like a full day of like what a university student would be doing if they were in a program on that. Obviously, it would take a lot of work in advance to do, but it is a cool idea that I'm kind of considering doing for the rest of the year, just to test it out. So this is the end of day one. I basically have everything put together. I have all my pieces. I'm just gonna have to like put them together tomorrow and add the final details. I think I made a lot of progress and I think it looks great. My only thing is that I have not done clothing engineering in a very, very long time. And even then I usually started with a pattern and then would go from there. And that was in high school, and it's been a very long time since then. So I'm hoping that this pattern works. I'm hoping it's big enough. But I'm just gonna give it a try tomorrow, I guess, and we'll finish it off. Okay, good morning, we're back. So right now you can see that this spot is where we're gonna sew next. And you can see that the back is a little higher, and that's okay because the back is different than the front. But I'm gonna go ahead and sew these little parts together. And now I'm just sewing down the inside leg. Now you can see them coming together. We're gonna sew this outside edge and then this outside edge. Okay, we got pants. They're looking great. And now I'm going to attach the tops. And I kind of wonder if maybe I should make a deal with myself, as it says in the book, to make a deal with yourself about maybe doing something like focusing on my art as though I'm a student versus a teacher. Now, I think this could be a really interesting perspective. I'm in an artist residency right now and I'm learning a lot, and I definitely feel like a student. I'm teaching at a school, and I feel like even though I'm not a student in that environment, I do kind of feel like a student just from being in a classroom again. And I guess through all this, it's brought to my attention that how many artists have the same struggle, probably a lot. So if you guys have any advice on it, I would love to hear from you below. A lot of you have practices. How are you making time for it? How are you pushing yourself as an artist? And most importantly, I guess where I'm looking for is how to become a student as an artist as well. I've realized a big part that I'm lacking right now is that I haven't really gone in depth as much as I would like to with learnings and that sort of thing. It's really interesting being around all of these experts recently and being like, oh, I really need to focus in on also learning. So I guess this week I've been wondering a lot about my pace. Am I doing the right pace? Is there a right pace? I've been thinking a lot about my process and how much I'm getting done this year and what that looks like in the future. I have so much I want to get done. For whatever reason, after my birthday this year, I'm feeling the slow, steady pace, march of time that cannot be stopped. And it's got me thinking about what I want to do for this year and what I want to get done for next year. And this year I do have a lot on my palette. So if you're watching this and you're a little lost, I feel like this time of year, for me at least, is the perfect time to really indulge and invest in what I want next year to look like and start doing those things so that I can be prepared to hit the ground in January. So I'm feeling a little rebellious this week. Instead of doing the goals that I'm supposed to do, which I will get to, I feel like I just want to make things and do really interesting things. And kind of do things that have nothing to do with the thing that I'm trying to do, which I will call rebellion. But I don't think that sewing or taking workshops or doing other exercises that I shouldn't be working on really are gonna hurt me in any way. But I do think that I need to start focusing on what my goals look like. And I always say September 1st is the real New Year's. This is the time where we have to look at what we've done this year and say, how can I make this a great year and feel very accomplished by it? So if you're listening to this and you're thinking, oh darn, it's almost the end of the year, I haven't done anything that I've wanted to, now's your time to pick up your slack if you want to get it done. I'm definitely in that boat and we're gonna work together to get there. Okay, so here's the final results of the fit. It looks great. Sorry for the angle, but I love all the different patterns. And I can't believe I made this in just a couple days, honestly, but I think that I could make a bunch more. I really like doing it, but I think that as a warm-up thing to do was not smart. This is not a warm-up. This was like getting back into like sewing engineering, and it feels great. It looks great. I can't believe it fits, and I can't believe I actually made it. The only thing I think it's missing is like pockets. I think I would either want one like on the front leg here, or I'm thinking I could do one across here, and that way I can just like stuff things in it. Obviously I have the little front pocket, which I love, and it just fits perfectly in there. I think what I would probably do as well is just go around like all of these things. I don't like the pointy corners here, so I'll probably go back and just engineer that to be like more straight edged from here. I guess I didn't know where it was gonna go, so I'd make this flat. I guess I could have put this here. I just didn't realize because I was going on the fly. And I'm gonna cut these straps because they're too long. But overall, like, I'm super happy. Honestly, I would wear this out. I feel like this is like an amazing like gardening outfit or painting and stuff. And I know I put so much work into it, so you're like, oh my gosh, don't get paint on it. But I feel like this is the vibe of it, you know? Like, it needs to get dirty and it feels like an artist's uniform. Anyways, that was a weird way to crash out, but I'm happy I'm done now. So I've started my artist residency, and the first assignment is to take one photo and turn it into 5 different collages. So I have it printed 8 times. Hope that's enough. I can print out more if needed. And the reason I chose this photo is because I've already painted it. I think being able to use this photo for both a painting and now collages will give it a really fun kind of presence. And I think working with the same photo kind of is fun. This is a very interesting photo too. There's a lot going on, and I can feel that there'll be some things that I can try. And I think the first one I want to do is just cut it into like blocks, like a grid, but not exactly like a full, like angled one, kind of like something like a quilt, I feel like, where it has some variations, and then we'll put it all back together after. Okay, so here's piece 1. It's definitely different than anything I've ever done, which is great. I love exercises like that, and I'm really excited to try again and see what we can make next. I think for this next one, I can see how sharp a lot of these edges are, and I would like to use those. So like cutting here and down here and just kind of making more of like a geometric part. I'm definitely feeling like this window just needs to get cut out in one of them, so I'm going to try that and try to leave the other parts of it in so that we're just like peering into whatever's going to go behind it. Okay, this is my last one, and I actually have like 3 left. I'm thinking I should keep one normal and then just like randomly cut these up and see what happens. So let's try that out. I feel like I've been doing geometric, so I want to try something that's like more flowy, I guess. I definitely don't like this one, so I'm just gonna try another one. I have some papers left, so I figure we should try a different method. Okay, now I have squiggles, I have ripped pieces, and I have strips, and then I have a little piece of the actual image. Let's see if we can just make something with everything, I guess. I kind of wonder if I should just glue this in the middle and then kind of just work around it. So this is gonna be my last one. I really like it. I think that there's some leftover pieces, so maybe we'll try to make one more just because, but I think that the different shapes are interesting, and when you're using different pieces, you can kind of see like putting patterns together, like this repetition is kind of helpful for this, and these shapes, and doing kind of the same thing, like these are straight and these are straight, and I think that that kind of helps. And then I also added the chair that I cut out, and I made sure that they lined up in these 3 different things. So I think that that's why this works. And then I've been trying to push myself to do things. So I did a stained glass workshop this weekend, and it was incredible and so eye-opening to see like how much a process can be so like difficult, I guess. Collage is obviously something I feel like you need a long time to get really good at. But the thing with stained glass is that you need a lot of time in general. Like it took 9 hours to make a very small piece. And I really respected how many steps went into it and how many different skills you had to have in order to make the piece. Being in the classroom again from the other side allowed me to think about how I teach. It's always so cool to see like other people's methods. And obviously these crafts are very, very different, but there's a lot of similarities within them. It's really interesting with creative arts in general is that everything is basically an applicable skill to the other one. Oh my God. She's so fast. Anyways, I feel like I've talked a lot, and maybe you understand why I needed a little bit more time to get my thoughts together about this week. And I feel like I'm doing very good within it. And sometimes it's okay to just have a lot of different thoughts and go through things. I think that it really helps us form where we want to go. And when we have more, we can at least shrink it down. If you have a small amount of data, you don't really have enough to work with, is how I feel with thoughts sometimes. And so, yeah, over the next little bit, I'll be trying to figure out what that looks like for the rest of the year. And maybe I need to switch up my whole routine and try to get to a good point so that I feel like I'm achieving what I want to achieve. But yeah, I'm very open to advice. If you're listening to this and you're figuring it out better than I am, I would love to hear from you. And if you'd like to support me as an artist, you can check out my website, flanzella.com, and I have art prints and collage kits and much more on there if you're interested. It would mean the world to me if you went and took a little peek at it. And I guess this is where I'm going to leave you guys off for today. I hope that this was helpful and insightful, and I can't wait to talk to you guys next week. Bye, guys.